Discuss one of the topics that obviously has brought a lot of us together, college football. That's part of it, but also the continual changes in conferences. This was discussed much earlier in the year, but the AAC presidents on Tuesday accepted Army into the conference starting next season. Russ Dellinger, Brett McMurphy, Pete Thamel, among many others, all had that. So congratulations to the cadets, as they're now going to be a part of the American Athletic Conference.
And I personally will be rooting for this. I mean, it's probably never going to happen, or at least it wouldn't happen that often. But I would love to have back-to-back Army-Navy games at different sites, like a concert, like the Eras Tour, because they will still play as a non-conference game. But if they're the top two teams in the conference, they will play the week before in the conference title game. So I can't wait to see what that would be like.
When do Florida and Florida State play?
They play the last week of the year.
And then they do the next thing. What's the next week for each one of them?
Well, they'd be in their respective conference
if
title
they made
games.
it, right? So
yeah.
that's not uncommon.
No,
right?
but they're not in the same conference.
No, that's true.
Not yet anyway.
Yeah. Army-Navy will still be what it is and be separated, but you're right. It's a little bit unique. Army right now coming off a spanking of LSU because Go Tigers were very angry themselves after what has been a little bit of an off start for them based on expectations.
I think the Secretary of Defense needs to get involved in that one.
It's a great tradition. Army, I love this. They have kind of put themselves in position, and obviously they have a fan base, and there's a niche for what they do. And your thoughts about the American growing yet one more team?
Yeah, I mean, good for Army to have the opportunity. You know, I hope. And yet I do kind of hope there is a conference title matchup between those two, but I do think the back-to-back's going to be funky if it works out that way because the game itself in the regular season is going to always maintain the same prestige and pageantry and all of that, but to run it back a week later, that would be really interesting. But, we cross that road when we get to it, and that's something that, was always – a possibility in a lot of these leagues of like, hey, if you have the conference championship game, there's always the risk that you run that you could end up scheduling it to where you end up playing the same team 2 weeks in a row. And most of the time, I think that's pretty much always been avoided. But yeah, I mean, that's a possibility here now. Good for them to find a home and some, I guess, foundation to help build upon. And obviously, everybody's scrambling, trying to find their place in this new college football world. And for Army and the American, that came together for both of those sides. So, good for them, good for the conference. And that's not, a big splash in, I think, the realignment world, but it was something that was brought up a couple of weeks ago as a possibility or something that was in the works. And so good to see them get done with that and bring it across the finish line.